This is David Maddox, political editor of The Independent, speaking from home in East London, having just watched Keir Starmer make a surprisingly emotional end to his premiership, an announcement with a dreaded lectern outside the streets of 10 Downing Street. Behind him, his wife, Victoria, who's quietly supported him for the last 2 years and beyond as leader of the opposition before that. So his more loyal ministers, Lord Hermer, who's certainly the closest to him, was there. And it was an emotional moment, as I say, for a man who has shown very little emotion and very little empathy in his time as leader, and it's been one of his problems, strangely enough. But finally, at the end, a bit like Theresa May, another Prime Minister who struggled with her emotions, to show them at least, he was almost welling up at the end, and famously Theresa May did so too. It's a very difficult moment for somebody to lose. You are losing so much power, so much influence, so much importance, losing the ability to see the world's secrets, essentially. And people who have got there, we don't really appreciate, but the effort, the time, energy, the sacrifice you have to make to get to that job, even for a short time. It's a very hard moment. But now, this is the sixth time since a Brexit referendum result was announced 10 years ago tomorrow that we have lost a Prime Minister. People joke about Italy back in the 1990s. Giorgia Meloni's been Prime Minister of Italy now for a long time, and seen quite a few British Prime Ministers in her time. It's a really interesting day, but it's not a historic day because, as I say, it's becoming all too commonplace. My view was the statement was a very defiant one. Sir Keir listed his achievements. People said they would never win an election again, or let alone a landslide. He achieved that, and nobody can take that away from him. Whether it's removing the scourge of anti-Semitism from the Labour Party, from the Jeremy Corbyn years, again, nobody can take that achievement away from him. Some of the ones he listed in government, others will query. Stabilising the economy, maybe, certainly in difficult times, but not bringing the economic growth as he promised. He talked about lifting children out of poverty, which is certainly an achievement, but at the same time, he actually opposed the removal of the two-child benefit cap for a long time. He had to be forced to do it. Defence spending, he says he raised it. Well, he did, but he didn't at the same time because of the extra pressures on defence. And of course, one of the coup de grace in his premiership was the resignation of the ultra-loyalist John Healey as Defence Secretary over the fact that he wasn't willing to commit to his promises on defence spending. But, it was a very defiant statement in that respect. But of course, as everybody does in these cases, he wanted to go out on at least some of his own terms and with some dignity. And he's achieved that. He set a date of 9th of July to begin a leadership contest. I think that is quite significant because clearly it gives Labour MPs time to decide whether they want a coronation of Andy Burnham after his remarkable Makerfield victory, which is the political event that has finally finished off Sir Keir Starmer. Eyes will be on Wes Streeting, the Health Secretary, the former Health Secretary, I should say, who will now be pressing perhaps for a contest or maybe preparing to do a deal with Mr. Burnham. It's certainly up in the air. My money at the moment would be on a coronation for Mr. Burnham, in which case we will have a new Prime Minister on the 9th of July. Otherwise, if there is a contest, it'll take place over the summer. But to conclude, it's a difficult day in some ways. People are going to lose their jobs today. People we know as journalists, who work in the Downing Street operation and work in the government operation, often unseen people, will lose their jobs over political advisors. And it's a tough day for them as well as the Prime Minister. But, Keir Starmer went into the weekend defiant, insisting he would fight any leadership election. It was very clear, and frankly, for most of us closely involved in politics, it had been clear for a long, long time that he had lost the trust and support of his party. He had lost authority over the Peter Mandelson issue. He had lost his reputation for moral integrity, and the game was up. We will see what the next chapter brings, whether Mr. Burnham, as the likely next Prime Minister, is going to improve things. He's certainly a better communicator than Sir Keir Starmer. But history has told us with the Tories that a change of leader, whilst refreshing, does not always bring you electoral success.